The if-then fallacy says that if I do this, then I'll have this thing. If I work hard enough for like 10 years and then I sell my business, then I can finally have enough money to finally do what I actually want in my life. Right? If you're a founder watching this, you might be under that if-then fallacy. If you're a religious leader watching this, you might be under the if-then fallacy of, if I bring enough people to the, to my religious organization, if I bring enough people to the church or to the temple or whatever it is, right? And you're like, okay, if I just get to this next number, then I'll know that I'm serving God enough. Then I'll know I'm serving God enough. If you're a statesman, if you're in governance, you might think, okay, if I can get this policy approved, then my people will actually feel like I'm serving them properly. Man, you guys have no clue how fucking dangerous these beliefs are. Because none of them are true. None of them are true. And the problem is, if you always stay focused on this outcome of more people or, getting the policy passed, or, I forgot what the example was for the founder. Whatever. If you stay trapped, oh yeah, if I build this company and then I sell it, right? The thing is, you believe that this outcome is going to give you what you're looking for internally. That's a fallacy. You're looking for an external outcome, which is finite, to fill something infinite inside of you. Now, here's the switch. Here's the reframe I need you to understand. Internally, you feel like you want to do these things because you feel lack. That's what it is. You feel unworthy. You feel that you're not enough to serve your people. If you're a statesman, you feel you're not enough to bring the vision into reality. If you're a founder, you might feel like you're just not enough for God if you're a religious leader. And that's the one that's the most dangerous. And so I just want to tell you right now, you have always been enough, and you have never not been. And in fact, you've always been more than enough. Because more than enoughness is your fucking nature. You hear me on that? Here's the thing. Everything in reality permeates from the one source, the one infinite creator. The thing is, the source cannot give to creation what the source does not have to give. The source is infinite in essence. The source is interiority. The source is quality. The source is ontology. What the source is, what being is one, unified. It is all present, all powerful, all knowing, and all loving. God is one. God is truth. God is beauty. God is goodness. God is existence itself. God is love. And that love is infinite intelligence. And that infinite intelligence is exactly the very substance that reality is. And it's that substance that you are. Your soul is that love. It is that infinite intelligence. It is that truth, that goodness, that beauty. It's a unique expression of the sources, but it's still the same thing. Interiorly, you are infinite love. End of statement. You are infinite intelligence, infinite goodness, infinite creative potential, infinite creative power. That's what you are interiorly. That's what your essence is. Period. And so lack isn't this, I am incomplete inside, I'm lacking inside, and so outside I gotta go find the infinite things to try to fill me up. And that's why it's a fallacy. Because inside, you feel like you don't have enough, but you're trying to look in the outside for that enoughness, but you never find it. Because you like I said, it's like the outside world. The ego believes that the outside world's infiniteness is separate from it. it can never actually get to the infiniteness. It can never actually get to that point of satisfaction. It's always got to strive, but never reach. And this is why tons of celebrities and millionaires and billionaires and actors and artists and athletes and all these amazing people and successful people, tons of them still fucking hate their lives and hate themselves. They drink themselves to death. They, OD, they kill themselves. It's like they're still fucking depressed. Why? I thought the money and all the fame, I thought that was what they wanted, right? Obviously not. Like, this pattern has been seen too many times for people to believe that this is true anymore. You know what I mean? In my opinion, if you believe that, you're naive. Straight up. You're not seeing what reality is showing you and accepting the data. You're being a fool. Cut that out. Because the thing is, there is never going to be an outcome that does it. Because the outcomes were never the point. The process itself was the point. The becoming itself was the point. The fallacy that the ego believes is that inside it's lacking. Outside, it can fulfill that lack. No. That's wrong. It's actually the exact opposite. Inside, you are so full, you are so much, you are so infinite interiorly. But externally, you are constrained by the bounds of finitude. You are constrained by a mind that can't hold infinite awareness. You are constrained by a body that has a physical amount of space. You're constrained by your knowledge and your skills and the people you know. Your ability to inflict your infinite desire onto the world is finite. That mismatch is the mismatch that creates the tension to strive, to burn, to become. It's the same vector of I must be more. The problem is the ego believes that it must be more because inside it wasn't enough in the first place. No. That's wrong. The unique self knows that it was already always internally full, but externally in the world, it can't fully express its infiniteness because it's always constrained by finitude. That core mismatch is what drives us to grow our capacity, to grow our understanding of reality, our awareness, to grow our ability to impact others, to grow our ability to influence, to grow our ability to hold power. We do these things because the bounds of finitude are killing us. The compression that we feel having a finite existence within an infinite essence, right? Or having an infinite essence within a finite existence, rather. That core mismatch is what makes us always want to strive. Because the thing is, interiorly, you are the infinite that has come down into the finite. That is your absolute reality. That is what your soul is. In this lived relative human experience within temporal space-time, you are also the finite reaching towards the infinite. And this is what asymptotic alchemy is. The asymptote. Always approaching. There's no such thing as a rival. Let me actually grab my other journal. Have a better breakdown here. The asymptote. So like I said, you are both the infinite coming into the finitude, the source coming into existence, and you are the finite reaching towards the infinite. You are the human going back up to the heavens. These are both your reality. These are the two illusions. Now, I'm not going to talk more about this in this video because I don't feel like it. But I have tons of stuff on my channel about asymptotic alchemy and about Substack, on the Scriptōrium Substack. So if you check out the levers, if you go to the description, you check out ontological life support for the levers of civilization. That's my specific levers Substack section. I got tons of wisdom on there. I also got more stuff here on the channel as well. The core premise of asymptotic alchemy is this. The asymptote in algebra teaches us about transformation. that there is finitude until there's a hinge point, and then finitude approaches infinity. But it never reaches it. Why? Well, I mean, something that's finite can never be infinite. Something that's infinite can never exist. Can never... See, this is the thing. The infinite can express itself infinite ways in finitude, right? Think about the number 1. The number 1 can get divided into 2 halves, and then further, 4 quarters, 8 eighths, 16 sixteenths, 32 32s. I think you know where we're going with this. At the end of the day, like, all of those fractions came from the one source. That's how the universe works. And so that is kind of like the infinite coming into finitude. It's the fracturing. Finitude reapproaching the infinite is the reharmony. The thing is, as a fraction, you can never hold 1. All you can ever do is get closer and closer and closer. Because if you were 1, you wouldn't be a fraction. You would be 1. Now the thing is, a fraction is itself 1, right? If I had 1/2, what could I do with that? I could split that 1/2 into 2 quarters and then 4 eighths, and then, I could take that 1/2, split it into 4 quarters, there we go, and then 8 eighths, right? So like, you can take the fraction, and the fraction itself holds infiniteness, and it can fracture from that place infinity as well. But the fracture could never get to 1 without just being 1, right? And so until you are not in space-time, until you merge back with the source, which isn't going to happen as long as you're living in a physical body, there's no such thing as reaching the outcome. Not going to happen. Get over it. Oh well. Now, I can't lie. Some people might hear this and think like, it's nihilistic. It's like, oh, well, if there's no end state, what's the point of working? Like, what's the point of the process? The point is that love is beautiful and amazing, and experiencing love is always worth it. Thing is, though, we have to expand our capacity to understand what love is so that we can give and receive more of it. That's why we grow. So we can transform ourselves more, love, hold more love, experience more love, and then also transform reality more, give more of that love to others. At the end of the day, the universe is about love. So the universe is divine inquiry in motion, desiring to experience its own love infinitely, like on infinite deeper levels, through the contrast that polarity creates. If you watch my last video on how oscillation is very important and it's required, right? How play and rest are non-negotiables. Play, desire, curiosity, that is the only source of desire that exists when it comes to the source, right? Like humans, as humans, we have the desire to move from need and just from like overflow, curiosity, play, right? We have these 2 impulses that move us. We are finite beings. We need things. We need each other. We need to be provided for. This is how it goes. I mean, shit, like, I don't know about you guys, but I need my heart to pump my blood, and I need my lungs to breathe me oxygen most of the time. I'm not doing it myself. You feel what I'm saying, dog? Reality is relational. We all depend on each other. We all need each other. Right? That cosmological, that sacred need is a reflection of our ontological unity. And so there's need. Need can be sacred. It can also come from shadow. And that's why, like, shadow need starts deceiving and manipulating and stuff like that. Shadow desire, shadow play does the same, right? So there's sacred need and there's sacred play. Sacred need is, wow, without this, I feel like I don't have the things that I need that are required in order for me to feel good baseline and for me to grow. Play is, there's something calling me and I want to explore it. I want to understand it more. I want to experience it again, right? Think about, like, if you have a movie that you love or a show or something like that. Like, personally, I love rewatching the same shows and the same movies over and over and over again. I recently started rewatching Suits. It's been fucking sick, right? Why do we love rewatching things? It's because we already love it. But it's like, but you already know it, though. So, like, what's the point? What's the point of watching it again? It's because you want to love it more. You love something already, and you want to love it more, like a partner. You love your wife, so why do you want to keep getting to know her? So you can love her more. You love a story, and so you want to keep contacting it. You want to know it so much more deeper. You want to see all the nuances that you missed the first 10 times that you watched it. You want to understand how your new mindset, your new perspective of reality over the last 6 months since you've had contact with it now changes how you interact with the story. You want to know it, and you want to know yourself better through it. You want to know life better through it. Why? So you can love those things more. You can love yourself more, love life more, love the universe more, love other people more. The desire to have greater knowledge is to clarify our perception, because when perception is clear, love is the byproduct. Love is the nature of reality. It's the foundation of reality. The only reason we don't love is because our perception is clouded, because we're misinformed. When you know something truly, you just love it. The only gap between knowledge and love is perception. Because the thing is, knowledge is infinite. Knowledge doesn't change. Beliefs are finite. When knowledge passes through the finite mind, a couple things can happen. It can either remain as infinite, awesome, it's knowledge, it's wisdom. It can get compressed into belief, which is it's holding some part of the knowledge, but it's not actually holding the fullness of it. And so it's more of like a boxed perspective that's holding some of it, but isn't actually getting to the full point. And that compression can lead to dogma. It can lead to not holding nuance. There's also just the mind takes the knowledge and then just like, yeah, fuck that shit, right? And so it's the mind takes what it learns and it completely takes it. The mind compartmentalizes and takes some of it, and that kind of takes the knowledge and turns it into a belief. Or the mind just says, yeah, fuck that shit. It doesn't even receive it at all. The problem is, when knowledge passes through the mind and becomes belief, that's when judgment can come in, and that is when we can start separating people from our hearts. We can start separating the world and reality itself from our hearts, from our awareness. And so we have to bring those back in. We're saying, no, I'm not separate from reality. There's only one reality, and all of it is interconnected, right? Like quantum physics teaches us this. The quantum field is one unified field. Reality is one unified field. So here's the thing. You have an infinite nature. You have a finite existence to express that infinite nature. And so what you need to do is constantly expand your capacity to hold more infiniteness with infinitude. That's the whole game. How do you do this? Personally, I like to ascribe to daimonic alchemy. Daimonic alchemy is the art and the science of asymptotic alchemy through willed surrender into devotional flow state ritual. And so I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'll just break down the core mechanics. The willed surrender is I am going to intentionally charge myself into this task, into this flow state, so that I can surrender myself to the process. As I've been doing with the last, 15, 20 minutes that I've been recording this video. I willed myself into this recording. When I got into it, I surrendered to the process of the recording. It's that willed surrender into devotional flow state ritual. So like the flow state ritual, me recording right now, this is my flow state ritual. Flow state is when the relative perspective, the relative will, and the absolute perspective, the absolute will, are aligned. The relative desire and the absolute desire are aligned. When these two things are aligned, it is natural that your capacity expands. Because the thing is, reality always wanted to expand your capacity. God always wanted to expand your capacity because God wants to give you a lot of things. God wants to give you infinite things. The problem is we have finite capacities, so we have to continuously expand. The thing is, God's not going to be like, yo, expand so I can give you all this amazing shit. Nah. God's going to do it on your timeline. And so if your mind wants to stay compressed, God's going to allow that. If you want to stay in a limited perspective, God's not going to force you to change your mind. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, reality is non-coercive. God isn't some character deity sitting in the sky deciding who gets in and who gets out. No. God is love itself, infinite intelligence itself. God is being itself. The source never asks anything of you except to be open and to allow the love and the transformation that was already here to enter you and move back out into the world through you. That's it. That's all God asks of you. Every day. Wake up, be open, learn, grow, and give it back to the world. That's it. If you do that every day, life's pretty good. I'm gonna be real. Like, I do that every day. It's pretty good. Life's pretty good. When you know every single day, I'm waking up and I'm transforming myself today. One, so I can feel better about my own self-mastery. But two, this transformation is serving for my mission and for my purpose. It's a win-win. It's like, wait, hold up. I learned today. I grew today. I loved life today. And so that was awesome for my experience of life today. But also, I knew I was making progress towards my future self. I know that the trajectory I'm on is investing resources into that future potential that's going to pay me back, that future investment that's going to come back in return. When you live your life every day, transforming on the micro and on the macro, there is no need for an outcome because you transforming is the outcome that you desire. And that's not an outcome, it's an infinite process. I want to close this out with the opening blurb from chapter 1 of The Way of the Superior Man. I fucking love this book, man. Stop hoping for a completion of anything in life. Most men make the error of thinking that one day it will be done. They think, if I can work enough, then one day I could rest. Or one day, my woman will understand something, and then she will stop complaining. Imagine. Or, I'm only doing this now so that one day I can do what I really want with my life. If you're a founder, don't be in that trap. The masculine error is to think that eventually things will be different in some fundamental way. They won't. It never ends. As long as life continues, the creative challenge is to tussle, play, and make love with the present moment while giving your unique gift. Let me read you this first paragraph. Actually, these first two paragraphs. Actually, these first three. Fuck. Yeah. These are money. You're going to want to hear these. It's never going to be over, so stop waiting for the good stuff. As of now, spend a minimum of 1 hour a day doing whatever you are waiting to do until your finances are more secure, or until the children have grown and left home, or until you have finished your obligations and you feel free to do what you really want to do. Don't wait any longer. Don't believe in the myth of one day everything will be different, or one day when everything will be different. Stop believing in the if-then fallacy. It's not true. Do what you love to do, what you are waiting to do, what you have been born to do. Now. Let me just say this. For the past, 2 months, I have lived inside of just walking in my purpose every single day. Just every day. Now, it's not just been the past 2 months. I've basically been in this process of, self-mastery and walking in my purpose every day for the last 1.5 years. But in the last 2 months, something different has happened. Because in it, I've been doing that transformation on the micro and on the macro. And you know what? Every day, life still slaps the shit out of me sometimes. I still get hit with the same struggles, the same pains, the same things I'm trying to figure out, the same things that I've been struggling with. The weight doesn't go anywhere. You just get fucking stronger. That's it. You were born to do something. You were born to make an impact in the world. You were born to take something out here and give it to reality. Why the fuck aren't you doing that? If you're not doing that, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care how many people you affect. I don't care how much power you have. Purpose is the only currency that actually fucking matters. Because if you don't have that, you have nothing. Purpose bears the fruit of fulfillment. That's a quote from Pastor Darius Daniels. Shout out Pastor D. Purpose bears the fruit of fulfillment. No purpose, no fulfilled. You guys think that outcomes are going to fulfill you. You're fucking wrong. Living in the purpose and the self-mastery, in the giving and the receiving of the going beyond yourself, the devotional flow state ritual, the willed surrender into service, into love, into growth. That's the only thing that will give you fulfillment and make your cup feel full. And when you stop doing it, what happens? You start feeling like shit again. Because the process doesn't end. Spend at least 1 hour a day doing whatever you simply love to do. What you deeply feel you need to do in your heart, in spite of the daily duties that seem to constrain you. However, be forewarned, you may discover that you don't or can't do it. That in fact, your fantasy of your future life is simply a fantasy. Most postponements are excuses for a lack of creative discipline. Limited money and family obligations have never stopped a man who really wanted to do something. You probably know this. You probably have had limited money, family obligations, and you've made shit happen in your life. That's just a different kind of constraint. Limited money and family obligations have never stopped a man who really wanted to do something, although they provide excuses for a man who is not really up to the creative challenge in the first place. Find out today whether you are willing to do what it takes to give your gift fully. As a first step, spend at least an hour today giving your fullest gift, whatever that is for you today. Whatever that is for today. So that when you go to sleep at night, you know you couldn't have lived your day with more courage, creativity, and giving. Let me end here. If you're a man watching this, building things is non-negotiable. We have to build shit. You know what I mean? It's like we basically only feel good if we're building stuff, giving it to other people, and other people are finding that valuable. That's real. That's how we find a lot of our fulfillment, a lot of our purpose. The problem is, if building is separate from play, you burn out. I talked about that in the last video. The problem is, if you think that getting to the finalized point of having something built is the point, you're in a fallacy. No. The finished construction isn't the point. The building itself is the point. Reality is about extracting the infiniteness through the finite. What is the finite? It's the goal. It's the outcome. It's the person. It's the money. It's the status. It's whatever that goal is, that is finite. But the journey to it, it has infinite depth, infinite wisdom, infinite experience you can extract and you can transform yourself from. I'm not telling you to set goals. I'm not telling you to go off into the Himalayas and meditate all day. No. In fact, I'm telling you to do the exact opposite. Have goals, have focuses, have your desires known, and stop thinking that when you get to the end, you're going to feel some kind of way that you haven't felt before. No. The point isn't getting to the end. The point is the journey. The point isn't the destination. It's the drive. If you'd like my personal one-to-one architect advisory, my polymath advisory, if you'd like access to my mind, access to my ability to understand systems, to diagnose problems, do interior translations, and to give next steps, I would love to help you do that. If that's interested in you, first link in the description is a 15-minute call with me. We can chop it up, talk next moves.